Hello everybody. I'd like to talk with you about what I see taking place at this time in a context of the discussions I've had with my clients and friends over the past year or so, in which I said that we should expect a recession to take place in January of 2020. And obviously the recession that we're seeing now is a little bit later than the forecasted time, but it turned out the forecast was correct, although I'm really feeling a lot of regret about the fact that it's correct, because what we're seeing right now is awfully difficult, and this is not going to be an easy time for us in any way. There's something I want to say about health and about our family members and friends that are sick right now or who are showing symptoms of viral infection. We obviously need a lot of compassion at this time, and we need to be aware of the fact that our own actions have tremendous repercussions. We're really seeing, as a result of this infection spread, that our tiny little actions are affecting so many people. And there's so much we can learn from this. This is obviously a very tough lesson, but it's going to be a very valuable lesson, and it's something that will help us in the long run. That being said, I offer my sympathy and my concern and condolences for those of you who have lost members of your family or friends and who are about to face some very difficult times of grief. And that is something that we must say before we talk about the things that are likely to change in the near future. I want to talk a little bit about two pieces that are essentially the main moving parts of this engine of experience that the world is going through right now. The first moving part is a very powerful force to call us to awakening, which has not taken place in this kind of magnitude in our history. And this engagement in awakening that we're experiencing right now might as well be like a bomb blast or a tsunami or an earthquake. The intensity of it is really beyond what we've experienced in the past. And what takes place in a situation like that is we wind up in a state of shock and in a state of disbelief, almost in a state of denial. It's not surprising that many people are denying that something of great magnitude is taking place and saying, oh, this is just going to go away, it'll be fine. Well, that's not quite the truth, because this type of awakening only happens when it's needed. And that's a good thing on a certain level, but that doesn't make it less painful for those of us who need this awakening the most. And what really is involved is we are forced to see things on a much larger scale, and we have to feel our way through the solutions that may be necessary in order for us to reach the proper conclusions and take the right actions that need to be taken from a wholly different context than what we expected. And that means a lot of growth and a lot of change. Now, the second moving part is a demand for maturity, responsibility, obligation, and commitment in order for us to achieve the proper orientation that we need in order to become and to make our world and ourselves the way we're supposed to be. That generally means that certain things are going to have to be left behind, because maturity and obligation and commitment and responsibility oftentimes say, hey, it's time to leave something behind, it's time to embrace what really matters, and let's be careful, because things have to slow down so much in order for us to take that step. And that's really the fact that we're experiencing, is this whole slowdown that we see, this economic slowdown, people staying at home, sheltering in place, and so forth. Those types of activities, or for that matter, the lack of activity, is the only prescription that really works to make us take a close look at where we need to go. It's sort of like the ready, aim, shoot approach to making plans. You can't do all of that if you start by shooting. You have to stop, you have to take a look, you have to aim, you have to prepare yourself, you have to understand your target, understand your objective, and then later on you take the action that has to happen. That's where we are right now. We're in a time where we have to slow down. Now, the context in which these two factors, this powerful force of transformation and this demand for us to slow down and take responsibility, are taking place at the macro level. We've never seen anything like this before. The entire world on the macro level is involved. We have economics worldwide. We have supply chain. We have medical questions. We have scientific discovery that's necessary. We have government engagements. We have legal matters to assess. All of these macro components are in play at this time, and that's where all of this is taking place. So it is necessary for us to slow down, and in order to do that, there are a few things that I'd like to give you as suggestions. Number one, turn off the television. Television has never been a source of accurate information. There was a time when my grandfather, who was about 90 years old, saw something on the news, and he said, well, it was on the news, and my mother said, no, Daddy, the news doesn't tell the truth anymore. It doesn't work that way anymore. And he was shocked. He couldn't believe it. But there was obviously a time when news was more neutral or unbiased, but that's not the case. And the very big companies that own the media are entertainment companies. You have Time Warner with the CNN, that's a movie company. You have Fox, which basically makes most of the movies that they make are the kind of movies that are designed to scare the crap out of you. So you see this kind of flow of entertainment tincture in all of the news, and there's never enough time to really explore things in depth in a proper manner, and the news can't be trusted. Turn off the television. It's not going to help you. Slow down. Take time to breathe. Take time to meditate, to pray, to study, to read, to do something that doesn't require running around. And that's a very hard adjustment for most of us, because we're used to just grabbing the keys, jump in the vehicle, run off someplace, be with people, come back, be in a hurry, whatever, everything, constant motion. The Sabbath experience is the essence of this kind of slowdown. In the Sabbath experience, according to the great sages, anything that changes the character of the world is forbidden. That's basically it. There are 22 classes. I could go into the details, but it's not necessary here. The point is that we need to slow down so that we can take stock, so that we can understand what's important, that we can return to what's important. Number two thing that we need to do is breathe well, to slow down enough, but to be able to take our time and breathe and feel. And in feeling, we can sense our sovereign nature. And in our sovereign nature, we discover a very powerful reality that we are something beyond our bodies, that we are something beyond our thoughts. And in discovering our feeling on the deepest level and finding our center that way, we're able to make fundamental connections within ourselves that give us strength and that allow us to not be pushed around and buffeted by the news or the shocking experiences or the illnesses or the phone calls or the person that may be talking to us who's in a panic, or you name it, any kind of situations like that. So I could go into a lot more detail about how to relax and how to pursue a greater sense of equanimity, but that's for another time. I just wanted to give you the basic architecture of what's taking place right now to share with you, and please feel free to comment, and let's engage ourselves in a pursuit of what's really true and what's really important, and allow ourselves to slow down enough that we're able to do what we have to do when the time comes for us to take action again.